Alright, for the usual, we're going to do some quality checks here, including an audio check. So, test 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. How do we sound, Alan? Give us just a moment while we check this across all channels, and we'll go live. Stand by one. Alright, everything checks out. Appears to be working pretty well. So, what's going on, guys? Hopefully everyone is having a good week. My name is Creighton Piper. This is a CryptoAnswers.net live stream. It's about 8 p.m. on Tuesday, October the 3rd, and October's been a pretty sluggish month for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Everything's down right now. It's been down the last 3 days, actually. Although 2 days ago it was basically flat. But we've had a very, very good run-up since probably, what was that, the second week of September. Pretty much steadily up since then. So now we're, like I said, down the last couple days, I guess. Yeah, we'll call that flat. Down the last 2 days. We're approaching the 50-day moving average here. Hopefully that'll give us a little bit of buoyancy, and we'll spring back off that and head back north. But who knows? We haven't had much news to work with. I mean, there is some, and we're about to go over it. Mostly that's what we're going to talk about tonight is the news. But none of it has really been very, very strong enough to really, truly boost the price of Bitcoin. So anyways, as always, we are going to be monitoring the Facebook comments here. I got it pulled up on my phone, so if you have a question or a coin that you'd like to have covered, feel free to mention it, and get into it as my knowledge allows. Anyways, we'll go over some, just really quickly, we'll go over the prices, and then we'll get into the news. Bitcoin right now is hovering right at $4,300, down 2% today. Not a whole lot of news there, not a lot of movement. Ethereum trading pretty much in line with Bitcoin at $291.59. Neo saw a very good run up over the past week or so, maybe not quite a week. It is down 8.5% today, but that's because, well, let's just go check out the chart. There's a 7-day chart. So we ran up all the way to 30, almost 39. We almost flirted with $40, but now we are back down to 33 and down almost 9% today. Litecoin is still holding the $50 level. We're at almost 52 right now, down almost 3%. We have Monero still well below 100. Zcash at 250. IOTA 56 cents. Ripple cracked the 20-cent mark a couple days back, and it has managed to hold that. It's actually faring better than Bitcoin is today. Pretty much flat, down 1/20th of 1%. So that's almost not even worth mentioning. So that's pretty much all we're going to cover on price action today. I want to talk about the news first and foremost, but it does look like we already have a question, and I'm not sure if he's still in the chat. I only see 2 spectators right now, but the name is Brock Chain. He asked the question: Goldman is going to trade cryptos, and yes, I do have that article pulled up here somewhere. There you go. Trading in Bitcoins may be coming soon to Goldman Sachs. The key phrase here though is maybe. So we don't know for sure whether this is going to happen or not. If it does, then obviously, yeah, that will be some market driving news right there for sure. That would be a big deal. As of now, I mean, it's just a maybe. They're thinking about building a team that will focus on developing a product that will allow them to maybe entertain the idea of trading Bitcoin. Basically, what I'm saying is this is probably a ways in the future. So it is worth reading the article just to see what they have to say. But I still think this is quite a ways in the future. Brock says the price will climb, and yes, absolutely the price will climb if it happens. If it happens, this will be very, very bullish for Bitcoin, and we'll have to see if it actually happens. I know some of the big banks, especially J.P. Morgan, have been bashing Bitcoin. Jamie Dimon, not a huge fan. Um, but then again, some of the big banks have been making pretty big purchases lately. Morgan Stanley, let's see, when we were back down at $3,000 Bitcoin, Morgan Stanley was the top purchaser of Bitcoin. J.P. Morgan was top, either third or fourth, and then I think Goldman was actually up there too, at least in the top 10. Now they claim to have made those purchases on behalf of their investors, like they were just honoring the trades of the investors. I don't know if I believe that. I guess you have to decide for yourself, or maybe do your own independent research. I haven't bothered, but they certainly drove the price of Bitcoin when it was at its recent lows. So yeah, then he bought the dip. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what it seems like. That's what it feels like. So yeah, he just hopped on that bandwagon, started bashing Bitcoin like everyone else, and then bought in. That might be what happened, but I'm not sure. So let's start going through these headlines one by one. This is the most recent one I could find, and this is significant. The headline is Sweden's largest online stockbroker Avanza Bank adds Bitcoin services. So now, to be perfectly clear, they're not going to allow you to trade Bitcoin through the bank. That's not what's happening. All they're going to allow you to do is track your investments, track your Bitcoin and Ethereum investments. Apparently, those are the only two that are going to be added at this time. But I think you're going to be able to link like your Coinbase account or your Bitfinex account, whatever. You'll be able to link it to your Avanza bank account, and then you'll be able to monitor it through their platform. So that is interesting. I mean, this does represent, I suppose, broader adoption, but it's not market moving, and that's why we're pretty flat today. There's not any overwhelmingly positive or negative news. So really, I mean, there's a whole article here, but those were the key points, and it's not worth reading the whole thing to you. Moving on. So this headline is Bioimplantable Bitcoin Wallets Becoming a Popular Storage Solution. This is a very interesting article. I would recommend actually navigating to it and reading the whole thing in its entirety. Just type in Bioimplantable Bitcoin Wallets, and it will come up in Google. For me, it was the first return, but you'll be able to find it for sure. This is not brand new, like breaking news. It was published on September 15th. And there have been other articles published before it, but this is the first I've really read a convincing argument for it, and it's pretty interesting. So apparently, someone is developing an implant. Here, I'll just read it. When implanted under a person's skin, the chip can facilitate a number of NFC financial transactions, including Bitcoin payments. The company has started an Indiegogo campaign to fund their project. So far, the team has raised over $30,000 US, breaking their targeted goal of $8,000. That's a pretty shallow goal, but whatever. At a price of $99, the biochip comes contained in a cylindrical, biocompatible glass stored in a syringe ready for injection. Developers claim the NXT implant is the first NFC-compliant implantable RFID tag on the market when a user wants to pay for an item. They scan the body part holding the device over any NFC-enabled point-of-sale application. So that's pretty interesting. I would say this is revolutionary. I don't think it is fully tested right now. I certainly don't want to go start injecting this in my body and just seeing what happens. But apparently they're testing this, so they probably have some guinea pigs out there that have agreed to test it out and see what happens. Now here's the thing. I don't think I will ever want to allow that to happen in my body. I mean, like I just read, they're going to be using RFID chip for this, right? And RFID stands for radio frequency identification. So, I mean, RFID is what's in your driver's license. It's what's in all your credit cards now. Now that they started rolling out with this chip right here, right? That's a freaking RFID chip. And the government can use that to track you anywhere you go. That's the thing. So I definitely do not want to implant it in my body. Hell no. I mean, I guess I'm okay having it on my credit card and in my car and that stuff because if I have, well, I don't want to get into anything crazy, but I do not want to implant this stuff in my body. So I bring this up because it is very, very interesting. It's a curious technological advancement, but I really don't like it. I Even if it becomes mandatory, I think I would fight it. I don't really like the idea, but it is kind of cool. Moving on. Again, this is a little bit of an older headline. We published this on September 29th, so that was what, 4 days ago? 5 days ago, I guess. But it is important. It's very much still relevant. The headline is Japan licenses 11 Bitcoin exchanges to carry China's trade volume. So, I mean, this is significant because with China banning banning ICOs and closing down exchanges, um, a lot of China's trade volume. I mean, they used to rank pretty high in the worldwide trade volume, and now they plummeted. But Japan, in the meantime, they picked up China's slack, and now they are carrying most of China's trade, and now they are the top. Um, their exchanges carry as much as 50% of daily trade volume, which is absolutely crazy. And so they're becoming the rock that we can all lean on when times get tough for cryptocurrency. So pretty interesting. Just a short article there, but definitely worth a read. Um, all right, this is our most recent article. Bitcoin ATMs in the United States near 1,000. Actually, let me just pull up the website, coinatmradar.com. So this is a pretty cool website. It tracks the ATMs all across the world. I focus on the United States because that's where I live, and that's where most of the Bitcoin ATMs are. When we posted the article, there were 997 Bitcoin ATMs across the nation. Now there's 1,009. So in 2 days, they added 12 Bitcoin ATMs just in the United States. So that is definitely significant. And let me see if I can pull up. Here we go, the statistics. So the average Bitcoin ATM installations per day is at 4.72. So almost 5 per day. So I mean, we exceeded that just in the United States over the last 2 days. So that's pretty crazy, actually. And I mean, if you look at this chart here, this is Bitcoin ATM installations over the course of time, and it's going up and up and up. That's a parabolic chart right there. So this average number will probably be going up. And what does this mean to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? Well, it's got to be bullish, right? I mean, it definitely signals that there's more and more demand for Bitcoin. There's more and more demand for Bitcoin on the go, meaning more and more people are using this for day-to-day stuff. I mean, these companies are not going to be spreading ATMs all across the country if they're not lucrative, if they're not making money. Apparently they are, and that's why they are spreading like wildfire. So pretty interesting, and that article is definitely a good read. Check it out if you have not already. All right, so this is, I guess this is another may, like this may possibly happen. The headline is U.S. may follow Japan to license Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchanges. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I think the U.S. will adopt it one of these days, but it's going to be highly, highly regulated if that does happen. So, I mean, that's going to be good for widespread adoption, but bad for decentralization, right? Regulation is never good for Bitcoin because it kind of defeats the whole purpose, but whatever. So there's honestly no point in reading this article. Everything you need to know is right there in the headline. One day in the near future, the U.S. might start officially licensing exchanges just like Japan is. And if that happens, then they'll start stealing some of the market share. And then we will worry about China even less. As of now, they've already faded out of the headlines and nobody cares because Japan picked up the market share. So let's see, we got some questions coming in here. Arthur Lifshitz asked, what are the rules to operating Bitcoin ATMs? Oh man, I had the link up once upon a time and I closed it down. I was going to do the research because I was like, man, there might be a lot of money to be made in this. And I mean, if you look at it as starting a business, I mean, relative to starting a business, the cost of like getting your first ATM up and running is fairly low. I think the teller machine itself costs between like $8,000 to $10,000, plus or minus, half a grand there. But the maintenance fees are what are killer. I don't remember off the top of my head what they are, but I think the yearly maintenance fees are equal to or more than the price of actually buying the Bitcoin ATM in the first place. And what I mean by maintenance fees is if you want to set up a Bitcoin ATM and be fully compliant, you actually have to register it and go through all this rigmarole to make sure that you are good to go with the U.S. financial institutions, right? And I'm sure it's similar around the world. I'm just speaking for the USA because I've only done research on that. But I mean, the licenses and all those fees are ludicrous. We're talking $10,000 to $15,000 per year just to obtain your license and maintain it. And so, I mean, the first year you have $25,000 in expenses, roughly, with that in mind. So the volume that these Bitcoin ATMs are seeing right now is not overly impressive. I need to find that article. Do I have a link to it here? I do not. It was on the Coin ATM radar. Somewhere on the site, it talks about starting your own Bitcoin ATM business. ATM profitability calculator, maybe that was it. That is not it. Anyways, if you want, just kind of surf through the site, coinaTMradar.com, and it breaks it down. It'll give you everything you need to know, for the most part, about starting your own Bitcoin ATM business, as far as just setting one up and letting it run. Manufacturing them obviously is a whole different beast, but it is very expensive to get it up and running, and that's why if you read this article at the bottom, I have statistics, and the fees are actually pretty high. An average buy fee, if you want to walk up to an ATM and buy Bitcoin, the average fee is 9.64%. Now, I did post this article on Reddit, and a lot of people were commenting on it, saying like, "Yeah, I've tried out the Bitcoin ATMs before, and the fees I mean, a 9.64% fee is high enough as it is, but they're saying that the ATMs that they have used personally, the fees are even higher than that, and it makes sense because you have to use the little trade volume that they're seeing right now to pay back $25,000 over the course of a year. So I mean, the whole point that they're there in the first place is to make a profit for whoever puts them there. So that's going to be their primary goal. So they have to charge a fee that is high enough to where they can pay for all the fees and then make a profit in the process. Otherwise, they're going to go bankrupt. So they are high fees, but it is understandable. And as Bitcoin becomes more and more adopted, and these ATMs are more and more people realize that they're usable, and they actually have quite a few use cases. More people will be using them, the trade volume will go up, transactions will go up, and the income will go up, meaning the fees should go down. That's how that should work out, but it'll probably be a long and grueling process. We'll just have to see. But the way it works is you can actually walk up to the ATM with cash. Like you have a $20 bill, okay, you put it in the ATM, and even if you don't have a wallet on you, if you don't have a code or a cold storage wallet, if you have nothing at all, it'll print out a piece of paper with a QR code on it. And then as long as you hold on to that piece of paper, you can scan the QR code, and then it'll deposit the coins into your account. So that's a pretty cool deal. It allows people that have no bank account, no crypto account, no storage wallet at all to still get into Bitcoin and get going. So I think that's pretty awesome. I really do. Again, if you haven't read that article, you can find it at cryptoanswers.net, and it is the very first article you'll see. It's the newest one. All right, looks like we have some more. All right, Arthur has another question. He says, I've been looking to install a few in New York, but can't find any legal articles. Okay, let's do this then. Since you seem very curious about this, I'll find that article for you. I apologize that I don't have it up and ready. I didn't think I was going to need it, but email me if you want at cp@cryptoanswers.net, and I will find that article and I will send it to you. There's a wealth of information there, and I'm pretty sure it had the information that you're looking for. If nothing else, it had a link to it. So that's Charlie Papa, CP, at cryptoanswers.net, and I'll get you the information. Good question, by the way. Um, Russ Weinstein has a question. He says, tell the crowd your favorite altcoin under $1 USD and why. That's pretty specific. I'm going to have to go with, man, I don't even want to admit this, but favorite altcoin under $1 would have to be Ripple. As far as long-term safe bets and like a surefire way to make money. Now, when I say that, it's not guaranteed. Okay, crypto is very, very volatile, and there's no guaranteed way to make money. However, I think long-term Ripple is one of the safest bets out there, and we are approaching the Swell conference coming up here in just a couple of weeks. Actually, it's like mid-October, and I wouldn't be surprised if some very newsworthy information came out of that. It's going to be attended by Ben Bernanke, the old Federal Reserve chairman. So, I mean, this Swell is drawing some very, very, very big names from around the world, and they are connecting some of the biggest banks in the world. I think they're doing a very good job promoting their coin, and they have a very good use case for it. And I think it's pretty much a go. But then again, the decentralization factor is not really there because uh, the company that controls it, from what I hear, I don't know this for sure, but I have read articles that suggest that they can actually freeze accounts or freeze transactions at least. So I mean, that's not good. We're starting to look at a currency pretty similar to the U.S. dollar, and that's in that case. Chris Ward is back, and he's still trying to pump Walton Coin. Says it's doing big things. And so here's the thing. We looked into it. We looked into Walton Coin. We read the white paper, and it just, I don't know. There's something about it. It doesn't quite measure up to the hype. Like I said, I've never invested in it, and it didn't give me the peace of mind that I need to make a long-term investment. So I apologize. I know you're all about this coin, but I don't know. I just at this point, not a big fan. I think the hype exceeds the technical benefits. So what else do we have here? Russ says Ripple is a yo-yo. 19 cents back to 29 cents back to 19. Take another shot. Be aggressive. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. It has been very volatile, and volatility is. I mean, a lot of people think volatility is bad, but no, hell no. That means there's a lot of money to be made, especially if you can read the market well. So you bring up a good point here. Um, but then again, Ripple lately, and I'm really surprised by this. I thought Ripple would um, be a more conservative investment than Bitcoin, but it has been trading almost perfectly in line with it. I mean, today it's not. Last I looked, it was flat. Um, okay, now it's down 1.2%, while Bitcoin is down 2.4. So I'm still trading pretty closely in line, but I expected it to trade pretty flat and not pull back as much as Bitcoin did, but I was wrong. Anyways, yeah, I think there's definitely some money to be made in it, short term and long term. JJ Brinker says he's tuning in for the first time. Awesome, dude. Welcome to the live stream. It's awesome to have you with us, and welcome from Canada. I know. So we were talking about Bitcoin ATMs earlier. The U.S. is pretty much dominates the market right now. They have over 1,000, but Canada is number two. So I know Canada is doing big things with Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency, and that's pretty awesome. I don't know if you've ever used one of the Bitcoin ATMs, but since there are so many in Canada, maybe there's a chance. If so, let us know what your opinion is. And I mean, I've never used one before. I just read the article and wrote the article, but I've never used one before. Are they easy to use, or what's your opinion if you've ever used one? let us know. That'd be interesting. Russ Weinstein, he says, no, give us an altcoin under $1 that has great potential and why. Man, I pretty much stay away from the altcoins. I mean, I think there is money to be made, but it's mostly hype. It's mostly hype based. So I mean, Neo has been one of the best performers out there lately, and that was predictable. I didn't get into it, but I should have seen that coming. I mean, we did predict that China would fade from the headlines and that Bitcoin would go back up. I don't know why I was blind to Neo because obviously Neo's going to go back up too, and I feel pretty dumb. I completely missed out on Neo. The price action as of late has been ridiculous, and not only did I miss out, but I I feel like I may have influenced some of your decisions. So that kind of sucks. Just always keep in mind, I'm not a professional. So take all my opinions and stuff with a grain of salt. But you're asking for an altcoin under $1, and I don't have a strong opinion on that, man. There are a couple that I follow. I like IOTA because of the proof system, Tangle. It is freaking awesome. But I, I don't know how solid it's going to be short term. Long term, I think it's solid. Short term, if you're looking to make a quick buck, I don't know. I think that's more of a long term gamble. I also like where's it at? Where's it at? Mm, can't find it. Oh, Civic. Yeah, I like Civic. It's on. Ooh, it's been going down for almost a week now, steadily. I would have to bust out a chart and do some technical analysis. It might actually be a pretty attractive buying opportunity. I'm not sure, but shoot, I don't even remember what Civic. The whole. It is a. It's not a privacy coin. It's what's the word? I need to do my research again on Civic. I remember that I liked it, but I don't even remember why. I mean, you'll pretty much be safe if you invest in privacy coins. Storage coins might be the next big thing, but I don't think any of them really have a functioning product as of now. That's so they're all kind of a gamble. But if they ever get the technology like really up and running and completely proofed, if they start stealing any of the market share from Amazon or Google or any of these companies that have like massive cloud storage, if they start stealing even a small percentage of that market share, the price is really going to skyrocket. So that's something to keep an eye on. Really, that's all I got. Russ says, "Boo." Okay, I'm sorry, but I don't want to pump a bunch of altcoins, especially when I deep down believe that a lot of them are pretty much a huge gamble and mostly hype based, and most of them are going to fail. So I don't want to be responsible for, you know, pumping some coin. You go out there and buy it, and then you lose your ass. All right. Russ is throwing in some opinions out there if you guys want to check that out. Chris Ward says, we missed out on Waltcoin when I told you about it. It was at 164, now it's at 7. That's a pretty good run. That's a pretty good run, man. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to buy into it at this point. I don't have a warm, fuzzy feeling. All right, looks like you guys are talking amongst yourselves there. All right, anyways, I'm gonna move on to the news and let you guys kind of discuss amongst yourselves what you are in the chat there. What else do we have here? So yeah, the U.S. may or may not license Bitcoin exchanges in the near future. Go figure. We've already talked about this. I'll talk about it again. The headline here is trading in Bitcoins may be coming soon to Goldman Sachs. May be coming soon. There's no timeline here established. There's not even a good chance that this will happen. It's just kind of a clickbait headline, honestly. But if this does happen, then it is going to be very bullish for the price of Bitcoin, obviously, and it will lead to more widespread adoption. So we'll keep an eye on this. This is pretty interesting. Could be big. This, I think, at this point is more significant. Germany's biggest Bitcoin marketplace to integrate Ethereum trading. Now, I pay attention to any Ethereum news because I hold a decent amount of Ethereum compared to my other holdings. So I'm glad to see this happening. So pretty much this is a snapshot of what they posted on Twitter, and this is the translation from English to German. He said, initially there was not strong demand for users toward altcoins apart from Bitcoin. The second largest cryptocurrency behind Bitcoin was Litecoin prior to the launch of Ethereum. And now that Ethereum has emerged, the demand for altcoins and cryptocurrencies has surged, and now they're kind of getting into it so that they can make a buck along with everyone else. So that's great. I hope this boosts the price of Ethereum because right now it has been freaking sluggish. We're still below $300, and it has been consistently lagging behind Bitcoin. So that's frustrating. I didn't expect that, but whatever. Okay, Abu Sufyan, please don't spam your clickbaity earning free Bitcoin stuff in our channel. We don't support any of it, and quite frankly, I think it's all very, very scamish. So please don't advertise that here. Anyways, nothing in the price action. Boring, boring. Maybe we can find one interesting coin on here. Black Moon Crypto, what the heck is that? It's up 10.5%. Civic. Man, there's been some weird, like, technical difficulty experienced in the price of Civic. I've seen on Crypto Compare, it'll report that it's down like 60%, except it's like unmoved for the day. So let's check out the trade volume of Civic. It might be because of the low volume. So it's ranked 56th. Trade volume, $1.679 million have traded place over the last 24 hours. The market cap is 122 million. Total supply 1 billion. I mean, that's a decent trade volume, so I don't understand why the issue there, but whatever. So I mean, just looking at this graph without even bringing up any of the technical indicators, I mean, we're looking at 27 cents, some pretty strong support right there, just because that's like a recent low with some similar troughs there. But at 35 cents, wait, what was it? It was 30 cents live price, 30 cents. That's starting to look pretty attractive. I don't know. All right, what else do we have? Russ says everything is oversold and Bitcoin is a killer. It will change. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we're still solidifying some of these gains right here. I mean, it went up steadily for like 2 weeks there, and so I think we're just kind of solidifying that before moving higher. I've been reading quite a bit of coverage on the Bitcoin and Ethereum and even Litecoin prices over the past couple of days, and everyone seems to think that it's about to go up because of some triangle convergence and blah blah blah. I mean, even just looking at the simple moving averages here, it's still hovering above the 50-day, and hopefully we'll bounce off that and move upwards. But I wouldn't really say that it's oversold at this point. Just I don't know, maybe a slight correction, something. But we're not in bullish territory by any means. If we do break the 50-day there, and I mean the 20-day is just below it. If we break those two moving downwards, that would be bearish. That would be bad. But I don't expect that to happen. If anyone else has questions, comments, feel free to chime in. The discussion so far has been pretty good, and Russ Weinstein, it's good to have you with us. You drove some pretty good discussion there. So, what else? See if let's pull up Crypto Pulse. I'm sorry, Crypto Panic. Let's see what's up. Crypto Panic. For anyone that hasn't used this website before, it's a news aggregate website. It just pulls headlines from all over the internet and arranges them in a manner that is very, very easy to find. So if I'm looking for a headline, a lot of times I'll just surf this webpage. Looks like nothing too overly exciting right now. Usually if there is something really exciting that people are trying to point out to you, there will be like this green positive. People, if you click on a headline, you can click positive, and then start counting the positives over here, kind of like a like on Facebook. But you can, if you want to, just like if you want to read like 50 headlines and scour them for something that's interesting in like 1 second, just do this, bam, and look for green. So bam, bam. Those might be worth checking out just at a glance. But yeah, man, today was dry. I mean, all this news, all these headlines I've been going over have pretty much been from past days. So today was not exciting. We're looking for some positive news to hopefully create some positive price action. Anyways, let's go to. There we go. All right. So here is a video actually. I mean, we transcribed it into an article as well, but the core offering here was a video. We talked about cryptocurrency taxes. We posted it on YouTube as well. And if you want to check out any of our videos on YouTube, just go to YouTube and type in crypto answers. And when I search it, our YouTube channel is the very first thing that comes up. So I'm assuming it'll be the same for you guys. But that's the easy way to find our channel, and you can find this video there. But we really break it down and talk about all the taxable events, things that, like times in which you need to realize your gains and report those profits at the end of the year, and then pay your taxes on them. There's been some feedback on the video on YouTube. Some people have been making some very, very well thought out comments and criticisms, and I mean, I appreciate it, honestly. People are really digging pretty deep into this and trying to verify the information that we're putting out there. So I'm really not sure that the guidance that we've received from the IRS on this stuff to date has not been very clear. If you go to the IRS webpage, let's see if the link is in here somewhere. It is not, but it is going to be on YouTube. I know I put a whole bunch of links in the channel if you guys want to research cryptocurrency taxation yourself. But anyways, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so the IRS has not offered very much clarity on this at all. So a lot of it is up to interpretation. Now, supposedly, we're supposed to use existing tax laws that apply to other investment assets and apply them to cryptocurrency as best we can make it work. But there's really no guidance specifically on cryptocurrency. So anyways, one of the things I mentioned in the video was that you can defer realization of profits by keeping your money in crypto and buying Tether, since Tether is a cryptocurrency, but it is tethered directly to the value of the US dollar. It'll always be worth $1. And there are people that have been commenting on it saying that is absolutely wrong, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing, nobody has any proof because it's not out there. The IRS has not broken this down once and for all. So here's what we're going to do. We have an interview lined up tomorrow with a gentleman named Patrick Caruso, and he is a CPA who specializes in blockchain or cryptocurrency taxes. So we're going to talk to him and get the skinny on this matter once and for all. Once we do that, if it turns out that we were wrong in the video, then we will release a statement basically correcting it, right? I'm really hoping that we do this interview and redemption is seen and I'm not wrong. And I don't think that I am, because there's no guidance that says that you have to there's no guidance that definitively says that every time you buy a new cryptocurrency with cryptocurrency that is a taxable event. So I don't know. I'm very, very curious to speak with Patrick and get a CPA's take on this. So we'll definitely keep you guys updated. We will edit the video as soon as it's done. We'll upload that to YouTube, and then we'll cut it to Crypto Answers as well. But then we should 100% once and for all know how to report the taxes. Let's see what we have for questions now. So Russ has a question. He says, bring up Proppy, the first real estate transaction completed by Ethereum on the blockchain. All right, I'll try Googling this. I haven't heard of it. This is Proppy. Oh, there you go, blockchain. Um, this isn't the Wall Street Journal, but this is a similar article, it looks like. I mean, there are several other real estate uh, crypto tokens out there. I know there's Realcoin. They just had their ICO pretty recently. Kexcoin just had their ICO recently. That one might not be completed. If it's not, then it's, you know what? I think it completed at the end of September actually. So Kexcoin should be like live on exchanges here pretty soon actually. And that one is backed by what's his name? He has a very well-respected YouTube channel, Chris Comey. Yeah, he's actually one of the at least the face of Kexcoin. And then I haven't heard of this one before, but let's look into it. World's first real estate purchase on Ethereum blockchain. Propy, the global property store and decentralized title registry, today announced the world's first real estate transaction on the distributed public blockchain network, Ethereum. TechCrunch founder Michael Arrington remotely purchased a $60,000 apartment in Kiev, settled via smart contracts in the Ethereum cryptocurrency and Pro tokens, marking the first ever cryptocurrency transaction in Ukraine and the first real estate transfer via blockchain. The latest transaction opens the door for many more remote real estate transactions on the blockchain. That is pretty interesting. Ukraine has been in the headlines um, quite a bit recently, but it's kind of been like back and forth. Like, here's an article. I know I've talked about this before. Ukrainian lawmakers have $45 million in Bitcoin. This was a while back. This, August the 15th is when this headline was released. So, I mean, when I talked about that, I was like, oh, this is cool. This is bullish. Because I'm assuming these lawmakers know something that we don't. And there's going to be a ruling on Bitcoin here pretty soon that is going to represent widespread adoption, at least for Ukraine, and that should be bullish for the price of Bitcoin. Well, as misfortune would have it, they did come out with a, let's see here. They did release a statement, except it was like very negative. They were like, we hate Bitcoin or something to that effect. Ukraine, let's try this, bashes Bitcoin. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find the article. Anyways, Ukraine has been kind of up and down, back and forth with how they view Bitcoin. Now, we were talking about Bitcoin ATMs earlier. I know they've already began installing Bitcoin ATMs in Ukraine. That was actually the first I've heard of these Bitcoin ATMs, was reading about them in an article about Ukraine. But now I'm hearing about it again, so that's pretty interesting. Let's read on. I'm thrilled to see Propy leading the charge in putting real estate on the blockchain, bringing transparency, efficiency, and security to an industry traditionally fraught with red tape and bureaucracy. I'm glad to see that too. That's pretty awesome. Ukrainian real estate is very affordable, and the Ukrainian market will soon be growing dynamically. This purchase is an important signal to foreign investors, especially Chinese, who faced strict capital controls of $50,000 per person, that they can safely and easily invest in this market and soon other countries. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Huh. That is interesting. So I guess the way I understand it, this is not really... So I think Kexcoin and Realcoin and some of those other real estate-based tokens, what they do is allow the crowdfunding of like these massive real estate projects using their tokens, and it allows small-time investors. Like if you want to invest $1,000 in some massive, like the Google headquarters, like maybe they're leasing it or something. I don't think Google would do that. They have enough money. I'm just using that as an example, but maybe there's like this massive office space and the company is leasing it out, and there's a ton of money to be made from that lease. Well, you can actually invest in it by buying Kex coins or whatever, and then basically buying a share of the real estate, and then the profits that are made from the lease, I think they pay you in Kex coin, I believe is the way that works. And then they also pay you for the appreciation that the real estate is ever sold. It sounds like this is different. It sounds like you're just straight up buying real estate using this coin. So that is very interesting. I'm glad you brought it up. I would like to do some more research on this. That's pretty cool, man. I mean, I've been into real estate since before I was into crypto. I do own a couple properties and I rent them out. So this is This is awesome. I like it. I'm glad you brought it up. Russ Feinstein says, you guys need me. Hey, man, maybe we can work out a deal. Oh, that's interesting. It's selling at half the ICO price. I wonder why. That's strange. The flippening. Oh my gosh. All right. Anyways, so let's go ahead and recap the news. I'm sure most of the people that are here right now probably weren't here when the stream began and when we went through the news the first time. So here we go again, round two, talking about Sweden. Its largest online stockbroker, Avanza Bank, recently added Bitcoin services. So again, this is not, they're not going to be trading Bitcoin. You're not going to be able to trade Bitcoin through Avanza Bank. They're not going to be opening their own exchange. But they will allow you to basically connect your various accounts, Bitcoin and Ethereum accounts, and you'll be able to track, you'll be able to basically just, what was I saying? Lost my train of thought, got a text. Be able to track your Bitcoin and Ethereum assets through their website instead of having to log into each account individually. Now you can just, through their bank site, track all of your global assets. So that's pretty cool. Right. Again, this is some fairly old news. This article is about 2 weeks old. It was written by Jamie Redman at news.bitcoin.com. And the headline is Bioimplantable Bitcoin Wallet Becoming a Popular Storage Solution. So I don't know how I feel about this. This is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool advancement. But what they're talking about doing is implanting RFID chips into your body. And it allows you to use Bitcoin on the fly. So you don't need a debit card. You don't need a credit card. You don't need a phone. You don't need anything. You just need this RFID chip that's going to be in your body. I don't know if it's going to be in your wrist or whatever, but you pretty much scan it, and then you'll be able to spend your Bitcoin in that manner. It'll be very, very simple. It'll be very, very nifty, I suppose, but you're really going to be compromising some privacy, I suppose. I mean, RFID, radio frequency identification, that's what the government uses to track a lot of things. I know when I was in Panama City stationed at Tyndall, one of the guys I went to church with worked for the city of Panama City, and what was his job title? I think it was just traffic controller. I think that was his job title. Anyways, so there's a dark room with like 1,000 screens. It looks like one big screen, but it's a whole bunch of different cameras, and they can zoom in on any of them and look at all the different intersections around the city, right? And they have some technology to where they track all of the different RFID chips that are in the tires of all these cars, and they can actually track the volume of traffic throughout the city using these RFID chips. So it's already being used, and the government is using it to track various things. Now, it's not overly invasive. If they're using it to track traffic volume, that's not overly invasive, right? I mean, we can still go on with our daily lives, but if you're talking about putting an RFID chip in your arm, now the government can track you specifically. And I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that say, hey, if you're a law-abiding citizen, it doesn't matter. What do you have to lose? You still have your privacy to lose. I mean, I don't want to compromise that. I don't want to give that up. So I would be very, very uncomfortable implanting an RFID chip into my arm. It looks like we have a newcomer, Skylar Graham Ward. He says, hello. Welcome to the stream, Skylar. Good to have you with us. If you have any questions, comments about a specific coin or any news, anything, just feel free to ask. We are keeping track on the chat, trying to answer questions. So anyways, yeah, you may have just missed a discussion on these bioimplantable Bitcoin wallets. Pretty cool, but pretty invasive. All right, here's another article. This is at cryptoanswers.net. The headline is Japan licenses 11 Bitcoin exchanges to carry China's trade volume. So obviously, I'm sure everyone that's tuning in here already knows China is banning ICOs and closing down exchanges. So the market completely tanked on that news, but now that all that volume has moved to Japan, we're going right back up. And what this has basically proven is that the beauty of these decentralized currencies is that they can pretty much be bought and sold from anywhere, and we don't need China. I mean, Japan is is more than picking up the slack now, and they have fully licensed these exchanges now, so they're here to stay. I mean, they're regulated, which kind of sucks. It, essentially, they have decentralized. I'm sorry, they have centralized these decentralized currencies. However, it still represents the fact that Japan is going to be backing Bitcoin strongly here in the near future. All right, don't need that anymore. All right, so yeah, here's another headline. The U.S. may follow Japan to license Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchanges. This might happen, this might not happen. It might be in the near future, it might be in the distant future. Who knows? I think it's pretty safe to say that the U.S. will regulate exchanges and cryptocurrency here very, very soon. Or, I mean, sorry, eventually. I don't know if it'll be soon or not. But they have already, the IRS has started going after Coinbase and Coinbase users, trying to obtain information on anyone who made transactions on Coinbase throughout the year. So Coinbase has been fighting for our privacy and saying, no, we're not going to do that. That is ridiculous. And now the IRS has reduced their demand. Now they're only asking for information on individuals who have made transactions in excess of $20,000. So, I mean, that's one example of a probe that the IRS has been making, and I'm sure they're going to continue to investigate and try to get more control over these exchanges and the transactions so that they can ensure that taxes are being paid. I would recommend that you just pay your taxes before everything is fully regulated so they don't come back and retrospectively try to ruin your life. All right, what's happening in the market? Absolutely freaking nothing. Boring. So that's been today. Completely flat, completely boring. I don't like it. All right, running out of stuff to talk about. We covered all this. Talk about this one more time for anyone who has just recently joined the stream. The headline is Germany's biggest Bitcoin marketplace to integrate Ethereum trading. As of now, they only offered Bitcoin transactions apparently, but now they're going to be offering Ethereum trading. So that is pretty interesting. And if you spent the 5 minutes that it would take to read this entire article, you would learn nothing more than you already learned from the headline. So there you go. Germany's biggest Bitcoin marketplace will soon integrate Ethereum trading. 5 new headlines on CryptoPanic. Let's see what they are. Oh, this is interesting actually. Is SegWit2x the real banker takeover? What? First I've heard of that. DCG, the digital currency group, is the company spearheading the SegWit2x movement. CEO Barry Silbert, a former investment banker in MasterCard, is an investor in DCG. Let's have a look at the people that control DCG. Glenn Hutchins, former advisor to President Clinton. Ooh, not a fan of President Clinton. Barry Silbert, CEO of Digital Currency Group, closely associated with MasterCard. Lawrence Summers, chief economist at the World Bank in past years. And wow, this is very, very interesting. First time reading of it. Say what? All right, I'm not going to read this all word for word, but that's very interesting. I'm sure if you Google search SegWit2x banker takeover, it'll probably pull up this article. That is pretty intriguing. All right, guys. Well, it's 8:45. There is no price action in the market. We already talked about technical analysis very, very briefly. We covered all the recent news. There's not much of it, and it's not that interesting, but we certainly covered it. And it's pretty much all I have to offer. So anyways, if you are curious about Bitcoin taxes and you have not already checked out our video, I would recommend going to YouTube, searching Crypto Answers, navigate to our channel, and watch the video. Be advised that we will soon be interviewing a CPA to validate everything that we talk about in the video. Most of it was pulled directly from the IRS website, so it should be pretty accurate. But there is one question that seems to be being tossed around on the video quite a bit, and it involves the notion of buying cryptocurrency with cryptocurrency and whether or not that is a taxable event. So tomorrow we have a interview scheduled with a CPA who focuses on cryptocurrency taxes, and he will be able to answer those questions for us. We're going to cut that video. We will upload it on YouTube, upload it to cryptoanswers.net, and if you haven't seen the video or you have seen the first video but not the one we will be putting out tomorrow, I would recommend checking it out because then you'll know everything there is to know about paying taxes on cryptocurrency. So then you'll be able to be in the good graces of the IRS. Anyways, going to go ahead and sign out for now. Thank you everyone for checking in. Thanks for being a part of the discussion. You made it pretty fun tonight. As always, I'm wishing you all good health and good fortune. Have a good night and a good week.